all right, I don't use TikTok that much.
I actually think Snap has the biggest upside of growth if they just got Spotlight. Like, they need to get Spotlight and Stories more like feeds that really work, because they've got, messaging, they own 13 to 22. The amount of people that use Snap to text is extraordinary. But to consume content, people are not doing that to the level that I think Snap has permission to play.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That Spotlight stuff is, I think it's more on the come up now than it's ever been.
Yeah. Vayner Nation, how are you? I'm excited about this episode. I think we're going to be able to double click into a very creative and strategic brain. I'm going to let Cody introduce himself and give you all some context, and I'm going to poke and prod on some curiosities I have. And I think this is going to be a pretty important podcast for a lot of people, and you'll see why in a minute. It's a subject matter I talk a lot about, which is things like 30 years ago, nobody would believe that he is doing what he's doing for a living. Parents, we were taught like some of this stuff was not good and it ends up being the best, and that has happened over time. It's happening right now with AI. Everyone's scared. It's bad. It's going to be the best in a lot of ways, and you'll have some bad, and like everything, there's some good and bad. But Cody, I appreciate you being on the show, brother.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So tell everyone a little bit about like who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Cody Conrod, also known as Clix. I've been a, performer for Fortnite competitive professionally, also entertainer ever since I was 14. I kind of got in the industry when I was 14, blew up, qualified for World Cup, also known, Booga won World Cup. Of course. I qualified 5 times, competed in World Cup, and honestly just been playing competitive since then. Now I'm 18. But I'm also an entertainer, and I do all that stuff. So
take us back even prior to 14. So just to recap real quick, just want to make sure everyone contextualize that. Clix is one of the great professional gamers in the space. 14 to 18, he's last 4 years has been really doing his thing in Fortnite and others. We'll go into in a minute. But the entertainer part is like what I want to double click into because, pun intended. Take me back further. So when I want to break down both the gaming and the entertainment part. When, prior to 14, did you have a sense that you were good at gaming?
Yeah, so I started playing video games, Call of Duty, when I was like 5 years old. I would like sneak in my brother's room. I had like a whole documentary. I would sneak in my brother's room, play Call of Duty. And like I was like, as a 5-year-old, I was pretty good. Right. I was 5.
Yes.
And years coming up, I kept on playing Call of Duty, got into CSGO, got into Minecraft. This was like around 10 years old.
Yep.
And I was watching the FaZe guys, New York House and all that. So looking up to them, I was like, I want to be that when I'm like 18 and 17 and all that.
Yes.
And, where I am now. So Fortnite got announced. Instantly played that with my brother. The first game I ever played, I won with my brother. This was back in probably 12 years old. And it was 16 to compete. So I was like, all right, I'm just doing this for fun. But I got really good. And then when they announced World Cup, they said 13-year-olds could compete, right? I actually was 13 at the time. So that got announced. I competed.
Where are you living at this point in your life?
With my dad in Connecticut.
Yep.
Yeah, with my dad in Connecticut. So I qualified.
And does dad like know that you're good at this point? Does he have a sense?
I didn't even tell. All right, I need to say this story as well. So to make, to get a computer, I signed a contract with my dad to, if he got me a computer, I would have to pay him back within like 4 months, either work with him or pay him back in general. And I paid him back, I think it was like $1,500 in 3 weeks, I think, just off of me doing my stuff when I was 13.
Meaning YouTube videos that got ad revenue?
Honestly, just 1v1ing. It's illegal now, but back then, 1v1ing.
Competing for money.
Yeah. Competing for money and all that
way
stuff.
Better than my concept of YouTube ads. I like that way more.
Yeah.
So Pops was focused on teaching you the right thing, the value of money, of like, hey, you're not going to be handed stuff. You got to earn it.
Yeah, you got to earn it.
Have you started to realize that was like a great thing for him to do for you?
Yeah, well now like
sure, of course. At the time you're like, fuck Dad, other people just get it.
Yeah, just buy it for me. I just need it. But now it taught me all that stuff. What are you gonna say?
Sure, I was gonna say, well.
But by the way, Pops is in the background. I'm like looking at him the whole time because I love that story because that's, everyone listening to the podcast knows what I think about the pandemic that is entitlement. I think there are very few parents, unfortunately, even though when
who believe
Scott
in their kid.
well, Scott and I grew up in an era where that was like the norm. Parents weren't just giving kids money. We fucking all did shit. So, but he's executing that to the next generation. That's pretty powerful. Go ahead, brother.
Well, for all the baby boomers, their parents always feared the things they couldn't understand.
Of course.
So what I wanted to do is break the cycle. Right. Growing up in an Italian-German family, it's like, I wanted to break the cycle.
Of course.
So that's when Cody came along and I said, he's really enjoying this. Wouldn't you want to have a son that really enjoys what he's doing, having a lot of fun, playing with kids all over the United States, all over the world.
Do you have a sense that there was like real lucrative things on the back end? Had that already hit your radar of like there are pro gamers, this is like a business, or that wasn't on your radar yet?
He had no clue. You had no clue. I remember those days. He was like, "Oh, you can make money off of video games."
No.
Scott, don't rewrite history in this fucking podcast.
I didn't have a clue, but this is what we did. I would watch him. Like I said, in the mini documentary that we have, I would go in his room and I would watch him only for about 2 weeks, for about 10, 15 minutes, check all my emails, watch him play Fortnite. That's what I did. And he turned and looked at me. He says, Dad, if you buy me this really good gaming computer at Best Buy, I'll get so good. You'll be so proud of me. I'll make so much money. And I says, listen, let me think about this. I says, right now, the funds aren't there, but let me think about this, and I'll be back in your room in 45 minutes. I came back in 45 minutes. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to write up a contract. I'm a business guy. I says, I'm going to write up a contract. I'm going to go out and buy it this weekend.
What I like about it, Scott, is so many parents overreacted to the past, and to your point, you didn't want to close it down, but on the flip side, you didn't go to the extreme and just hand it. You kind of got the best of the old and the new world. Love it. All right, let's keep going. Yep. So then you just got the new computer and what? Immediately, obviously you had it leveled up the whole sitch.
Yeah, so got the new computer, qualified for World Cup week 2, which was guaranteed $50,000 for solos. Or I think duos was first. And then I qualified for solos also, which was another $50,000 guaranteed if I were to go to New York. I went to New York to compete. I did bad in duos, but I did okay in solos. I won like 160 grand total.
And you were 13?
I think 14.
14.
14 at this point. Yeah, 14. And I was also signed to a gaming org.
Misfits.
Yeah, Misfits.
Yep.
So I was signed
and
to
so
Misfits.
so it just became very real fast, right?
Yeah, it became very real.
Yeah, I was going to say real quick, in 2 weeks, he made $1,035 online.
Mm-hmm.
I says, he must be pretty good at this game, business sense. And then I said, well, then your next step is you got to get picked with an org.
Yeah, of
and
course.
Got signed up at 14 years old, making $1,500 a month.
Yeah, it's huge.
So then, that's
of
what
course.
Dad says, man, he got
There's something real. Yeah, it's awesome.
Right.
Talk to me about the entertainment. It's funny. I know a lot of gamers, professional gamers, people in this space, people that look the profile of you, know the FaZe crew well, know a lot of characters. You've always been pretty consistent. It's one of the things that really hit our radar at VaynerSports. Like this concept, and even I was listening carefully. You come out here and be like, game, but entertainer.
Right.
Talk to me about what that is, and was that happening before even gaming? Like, did you see?
Did I become an entertainer?
Or how do you define being an entertainer? Or why? Or even more fun for all the kids that are listening and the parents that are listening. Why are you saying that, and what do you mean? Like, where are you going?
So how did I become an entertainer? Basically, since I was.
I just think it's very intriguing that you're saying I'm a gainer and entertain. Like that is not
Right.
right?
Because most Fortnite players, they don't really have like the personality to entertain people live on stream.
Yep.
So I guess like I was like a toxic when I was younger. I was really toxic, right? Like I was like that toxic little kid who was like shit talking everybody I played against, and that was like their entertainment, right?
Yep.
So like as I progressed, I found new entertainment.
Yeah.
Where it's like I know how to nonstop talk to little kids, nonstop to like entertain kids.
Yeah, of course.
And
You're
like
keeping people's attention.
yeah, keep their attention, which most players
They're
don't
just
really
playing.
They just play and
you're
don't,
multitasking.
Exactly.
It's just, like I resonate with that because I do a lot of public speaking. I'm public speaking, like doing my keynote,
Right.
and equally paying attention to the audience
to keep them on track.
Yeah, and adjusting even the content potentially based on the way they're reacting throughout.
Exactly. That's kind of the same thing with streaming, like
Yep.
what the chat is saying, seeing if they're bored.
Of course.
Change combos, get them back attached.
Of course.
Right.
So you're saying I'm an entertainer from the standpoint of trying to educate people of like, hey, I'm not just good at playing the game.
Exactly.
I'm also bringing another variable to the table.
To keep them, yeah.
Right. And what you're doing is you're educating the masses because, as you know, Aaron knows, like I'm aware, there's certain players who are just locked in and they're just, it's almost like Andre Agassi versus Pete Sampras, right? If you use a tennis comp. Pete Sampras was just like straight down the line, vanilla piece of paper, but he was an epic tennis player. And Agassi was an epic tennis player that people came out to see because he was entertaining.
Right. So I'd be like basically getting like 20 bombs while entertaining the chat. So it's correlation with what you're trying to say.
Yep. And so now what? What are you thinking about right now?
So now, I just signed to Vayner.
Yep.
I'm still doing the normal stuff, still competing a lot. Kind of like my schedule now, I just moved to Dallas for a competition. So I'm competing, but I'm also, when comp isn't going on, I'm doing like entertaining stuff, entertaining streams. Like I just did a stream in LA. You might have seen it, basically with like 2 girls, cause a lot of drama. But, the drama is entertainment for the other people,
How do you find the balance of, when you say drama is good entertainment, how do you find the balance in your own mind, how do you think about balancing things that are entertainment to keep it in that kind of mid? I think about the world right now. It's so political, red, blue, and I'm always like, how is it purple so that it's like, like that you find that middle. Do you think about that? Like when you're thinking about doing entertainment that's going to be interesting for people, are you trying to find a fine line where it's not at the detriment of other? Like it's probably a tough thing to juggle.
Well, I think I just do what I think is going to be like funny, I guess.
Yep.
And I don't like let it get, too chaotic unless
Yes.
the girls make it get that
Yes.
chaotic. And sometimes that does happen.
You're not in control of other people.
But if that happens, it's not me and it's entertainment for other people. And it's, in my head, like, I'm like, yo, like this is fucking hilarious. But like in like their mind, it's like a real life, like interaction, but I'm just like trying to make it entertaining. And the chat's going crazy. It's 3 a.m. It was a blast. But like after on TikTok, it was like 30 million views in like 2 days on my channels.
Yep.
Just off of like posting the clips. And then like Bryce Hall and Josh had them on their TikTok
Yep.
and like BFF's podcast. And it was like good entertainment. But in my end, I'm just fucking around when they're being for real.
Yeah, know? I mean, it's so interesting. I think a lot about where the world's at in at this point, and like not giving kids the freedom to like live youthful energy is like a super challenge. Like when me and my friends and everybody who's listening who's 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, when we were goofing, when we were 15 to 18, it was just lost in the ether.
Right.
But now when you guys are goofing, it's just documented.
Yeah.
It's a very different mindset.
That's the beauty of this industry. You can do whatever and you make, people entertain. You also make money off of doing what you want to do.
Of course, Andrew Dice Clay was entertaining. People thought it was like, you remember that era? Like that was like, whoa, like too hard in 1988. Now that's mundane TikToks. The world just continues to evolve. How are you thinking about business? How do Pop's talking in the background about business guy, so you've got some of that DNA. Like how do you think about business? Like how do you think about what are deals that are right for you, ambitions, things you want to do in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s?
I mean, right now I'm not really, obviously you have to be focused on the business part. That's why, I signed with Vayner.
Yep.
But back then, Feldy, he still is my
Yep.
manager. He was, getting all the deals.
Yes.
I mainly just do the full entertainment stuff and kind of let the background people do the deals. And like the numbers that I feel are right for a deal is kind of like something, what I'm saying? Like he knows what's
right.
How do I word it?
You trust the people around you.
Yeah, I trust the people around me.
And what you're focused on is, unless you like completely hate the product or if you think it's corny, you'll play in that
Exactly.
But you trust the people to understand the business side.
Exactly. I'm focused on the entertainment. They're focused on
Yep.
the deals and what's good
Right.
for my brand and what's not good for
And
my
so,
brand.
like, very simply, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say,
Please.
He knows, like, been working with him for a while. He knows, like, I know what he's willing to do, what he's not willing to do.
Of course.
And, like, what's up his alley. And
90% of the time, you've got that
like,
locked in.
It's like
Right.
you
Yep.
just stream
Yep.
and make the content and, like, let the internet do the rest of the
Yep.
work and make it go viral.
Yep.
And then it's like, if you want to do anything outside, like start a brand, do all that stuff, like, let's do it and let's just get it out there and like, just do what you do best and let.
Yeah, I mean, I
build your
think
team.
for all the people that are listening that manage talent, I always say, like, if you're going to be great at it, you're going to have 90% of it figured out. Like 90% of the time, you're going to be like, he's going to do it, he's not going to do it. She's going to do it, she's not going to do it. What you have to be is make sure that you don't have ego as a manager or someone that reps and think you're 100% right. You have to have the humility to be like, you know what? Pretty sure he's not going to want to do this, but I'm going to put it in front of him, in front of her, and let them decide. And I think that's like when those partnerships go best.
Right.
They're saving you time by not bringing you stuff, but he's also got the humility, we've got the humility to put stuff in front of you where we're not exactly sure. And plus your temperament changes, especially when
Right.
you're young. I think the most interesting part about, I see it in all of our facets, gaming, sports, I see it in all of marketing, see it in influencer marketing. We all know this. We've lived it. A lot of you are living it. A lot of you are now in this room and listening in the 20, 30, 40-year-old range. Man, who you are at 15 versus who you are at 17 versus who you are at 19
Huge difference.
versus who you are at 23 and 27. You're like different humans in such quick windows. And that's also something that needs to be on strategy of what you will
Right.
and won't. Where are your ambitions on the non-entertaining part? Meaning, do you, as an athlete, as like a player, as a skill, are you overly crazy about getting better? Are you chilling on that?
Like the game you're saying?
And then like even think like let me ask the direct question I'm curious about. Has it run through your mind that there'll be another game, right? A Call of Duty, a Fortnite that comes out in the next 24, 36 months that captures the gaming world's attention? Will you have a lot of thirst? So let's play it out. 2 years from now, you're making more money.
Yep.
There's more good stuff happening. You're more famous. Do you intuitively feel that you're going to put your head down like 14, 15-year-old you and have the bandwidth and the time to be great? Or do you think you, like every other athlete, like we see this in all other sports, you like were obsessed to get to be 17 and the best tennis player in the world, and then you're super famous and doing cool shit, and all of a sudden it's hard because there's some kid from Yugoslavia that's 13 that's doing this. Like, what's your, like, do you feel the 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds who do nothing but fucking try to get great? Like, what's your sense?
I mean, in 2 years, I don't think I would want to play another game. Like Fortnite's like kind of like my hotspot, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm good at that game.
Yes.
I'm a professional player. I'm gonna keep on doing that until the game runs out.
Yes.
I'm not gonna let myself get bad, but I'm also gonna be doing the entertainment part on the side just in case, God forbid, if Fortnite dies, I still have that entertainment aspect to go on about. But I don't think I would ever play another game, which what you're trying to say is like my 13-year-old self would want to go pro in any game.
Right.
Like now it's like I've been a pro for 4 years. I'm gonna be 20 if the game dies. Might as well, you know, take like an acting route or something. Like I'm already doing entertainment, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like me getting the acting job.
That was the exact question. And I think that's super interesting. I think there's like clearly like 2-3 paths there. I get it.
Right.
But it's interesting though, right? The CSGO natural talent was able and work like translated to some degree to Fortnite.
Right.
Do you feel like the skill that you have at Fortnite could translate to lasers and lightning if that became the thing?
I think I think gaming's genetics. I'm gonna be honest.
I do too.
I've been playing since I was like 5 years old, so that has a lot to go into it. But like,
bro, I have good news. Basketball's genetics, tennis is genetics.
I mean,
hockey's genetics.
Yeah, no,
like,
you're
of
100%.
course you got
like someone can't
work.
practice 10 hours a day. I'm practicing 10 hours a day, and somehow, you know.
Yeah, you're talented.
Exactly. So it's like, would I want to become a professional? I don't really know.
I get it.
It would have to be a perfect scenario for me to, you know, go back putting 10 hours a day into that while, you know. If I'm streaming it and the game's blowing up and everything's going good and I'm becoming a professional, 100%. Like
let's bounce around to something I think will bring value to the audience. Social networks.
Right.
Your current take on like the best apps and the not best apps.
Oh, that's a good one.
Go ahead.
Best apps, in my opinion.
Yep.
Twitter.
Yep.
Oh, this is hard. Twitter.
Yeah, break them down.
Twitter, 100%. You know, I'm on that app all the time.
Okay.
Instagram, I think, is terrible now.
Tell
I
me.
think, you know, what they did with the whole entire, like, paying for, like, views. And I hate the verified aspect. I don't know, like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
like, paying for verified doesn't feel authentic
to be very frank,
whatsoever.
for me, it's like logistics. Now that everyone has a verified account, it doesn't let me quickly see if there's an account like that's verified that I might need to be intrigued by or look at. So like, it's made it lost. I love it as a business model. I have videos that I need the team to dig up 6-7 years ago. I'm like, these social networks are gonna figure this out and charge $10 a month because it's just good business.
Yeah,
it made sense.
I mean, yeah, they're making bank off of doing it, but for us, you know,
I get it. Yep, go ahead.
I mean, in Instagram in general, I'm pretty sure now it's like to get on a bigger, like when you post, it doesn't actually pop up on the feed now unless you pay for it.
No, they'll still, like, you can still, plenty of people are getting there. The problem with Instagram is organic reach is down because so much attention has gone to TikTok during a time where more content is being produced on Instagram than ever. But the attention's not at the height that it was because there's an enormous amount of under 35 that now has given a ton of its attention to Shorts and TikTok. So the supply and demand. All right, keep going. So that's Instagram. So, down on that a little bit. What about Shorts?
YouTube Shorts, I think, are amazing. I recently started like Shorts, and you know, they a whole another channel. They've been killing it. Shorts are crazy.
Love.
TikTok, I think, is amazing.
Yep.
Like definitely the best way to promote anything that you have going on.
Do you think that if the U.S. bans TikTok, that everyone under 22 will revolt and like burn houses down?
I don't think that's gonna happen. I can't see a world where they're actually gonna ban. How many careers do you think would fall off of like that in general? So many people use like TikTok for business in general to like make more money for like
wouldn't they just go to Instagram or YouTube?
It won't be the same though.
I know that.
So I think you are right. I think it would revolt.
No, but do you think 17-year-olds are going to burn their school down kind of thing?
I think it would be a little bit younger than that. I think a little
Fair
bit
enough.
like 14,
right,
13-year-olds would burn their school.
LinkedIn. Does that even hit your, like, are you like, what the fuck are you talking about, Gary?
I don't even know what you just said.
Good. I totally get it. Talk to me about Snapchat.
Mm-hmm. I don't use Snapchat.
No.
No, I'm
Not
verified
even,
on it.
Not even to message.
I know you're mad at that.
I'm not. I don't give a shit.
Oh, you don't give a shit.
Well, actually, I do. We'll talk about it after. But
All right, I don't use
I
TikTok
actually think
that much.
Snap has the biggest
Or Snap.
upside of growth if they just got Spotlight more. Like they need to get Spotlight and Stories more like the feeds that really work because they've got this
Right.
messaging they own.
Right.
Like 13 to 22, like
They'll use Snap.
The amount of people that use Snap to text is extraordinary,
Right.
but to consume content, people are not doing that
Right.
to the level that I think Snap has permission to play.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That Spotlight stuff is, I mean, I think it's more on the come up now than it's ever been.
Yeah.
But, I don't post anything.
Facebook.
Dude, I haven't downloaded that app in my whole life.
Not
Never
really,
downloaded
right?
Facebook, no.
That was always like your dad's thing.
Yeah, I feel like it's an older generation thing.
100%. Anything else? Do you know what Clapper is?
Huh?
Clapper?
No, zero clue.
It's like a complete clone of TikTok that I think is like sitting in the cut. And if TikTok gets banned, we may explode. Anything out? What about? I mean, Twitch is a different thing
What are
altogether.
your
But
thoughts on
obviously,
Twitch?
I think it's massive. I mean, I
What
think.
are your thoughts on the recent stuff going on?
I mean, like some of the things that people can and can't do.
Well, like Kick coming out now, they're cutting 36% of their whole entire company.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just natural big business, but I don't think you as a creator feel any effects of that reality. Companies are worried about their stock price, so they do things, but I don't think you're going to feel the effect. There's still plenty of people there doing shit. To me, I'm platform agnostic. If Twitch and TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube disappear tomorrow, banned, I'm like, okay, like I got to go be better at Twitter and whatever's left. Like
Right.
people are going to go wherever they're going to go.
Right.
Like they're gonna, like it's the same argument I have with TV and connected TV and streaming services. Like all these companies wasting money on running commercials on regular TV when everyone's attention's on social and
Exactly.
streaming.
I agree with that.
And that's why I think influencers and entertainers like yourself will continue to get market share because you have now built up enough awareness that you're agnostic. If YouTube and Twitter and Twitch go away or Kick, like you have the ability to literally the next day, because everyone, you have to understand, it's banned for everyone.
Right.
It's not like you got banned from, it's banned from everyone.
So everybody's going to go to another, yeah.
They
exactly.
have to. What are they going to read newspapers?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you just new things form, and so I think that's always going on. What about from you, from a content creator standpoint? Who do you think is doing a good job?
Right now.
Yeah, or even historically, like things that you've looked at that you're like, oh, that person, like things that you, and not even maybe like what entertains you, maybe people that you've learned from. I mean, the FaZe Clan clearly had to be massive.
That was back then, they're
Yes.
going through a lot right now. But
Of course.
I mean, I think, Kai Cenat, he's a great example of like doing the impossible. Like nobody ever thought someone could get 300,000 subscribers while, entertaining 100,000 people at once, nonstop.
Yeah.
He was 24/7 live stream
I
for
know.
30 days.
I know.
And seeing like his mom calling him, hitting 100,000 subs was like inspirational for me.
love it.
Even though I'm also doing good as well, but like that's like
course.
a different step of like your parents calling you, crying, and being like, wow, like I was, he's doing it different. And that's a good example that like I want to become, where after Fortnite, do like the entertainment aspect, what he's doing.
It's so funny you say that. This is what I want a lot of parents to hear. Like, a lot of these kids are doing the same things that you grew up with. You always hear about stand-up comics saying things like, in documentaries, like a Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle will be like, but when Eddie Murphy did Raw, I knew that I had to go up another step. Or when like players today like talk about like when Allen Iverson was that quick, I knew that I just wish people knew how much being a streaming entertainer or a gamer was a talent and a skill that requires incredible amounts of work. And to
Right.
Pop's your point, putting a bow on this whole combo, the parents that are most open to, I mean, like literally every parent that has an 11-year-old right now, 84% of them are telling their parents they want to be an influencer, a creator, a YouTuber, a gamer. And, for many parents, they struggle with believing that can be true. And it's only going to be more true 5 years from now, 10 years from now. When
It's become like normal. It's become like a normal sport.
Brother, that green book right there, the Black and Crush It, I wrote that in 2009. How old were you in 2009?
4.
Good. When you were 4, when I wrote that, so if you read that book, the hypothesis is like, this YouTube thing is new, and I think people are going to make a living on it. If you go to Amazon and look at the first reviews of that book that I wrote in 2009, everyone's reviews of my book were like 1 star. You're full of shit. What are you fucking talking? Nobody's going to make $100,000 a year on YouTube. Think about how outlandish that is now. There's people who do that in a day.
In a day, yeah.
So the world's going to continue to move. It needs people like you showing the way, and I appreciate you doing that.
I appreciate you for having me.
Thanks for being on.
Of course.
Awesome.
Cool.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.